This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it's been a few days now since a group of Democrat congressmen and senators, now known as the Seditious Six, posted a video encouraging military members, enlisted officers, whoever, any of the 1.3 million people serving in our military to defy the president, claiming he was issuing illegal orders. And when we saw this, when everyone saw this, you wondered, wow, that sounds serious. Trump's issuing illegal orders to our military members, our soldiers, our Marines, our Coast Guard, our CIA officers. What would those be? Man, that was a serious charge, a really explosive accusation. And here we sit on Tuesday, November 25th, and everybody, including the media, Democrats, have the same question. What are they talking about? We wondered that immediately after seeing the video. What are they talking about? What are they referring to? What orders? Is it domestic? Is it foreign? Is it Venezuela? Is it Chicago? What orders could they possibly be talking about? And I thought, we'll find out soon. There'll be an answer. They will tell us what Trump's doing that is illegal. Well, as we sit here today, we still don't have an answer. We still don't know what they're referring to, which means, in fact, they've been asked this. All of them have been asked, what are you talking about? And none of them has been able to give an answer. In fact, it's gotten comical at this point. Alyssa Slotkin, who's been credited with organizing this, leading the Seditious Six, when asked about this, she referred to A Few Good Men. She referred to a movie, a Colonel Jessup ordering the code red. I'm sorry, that's not a serious answer, lady. You're in the Senate. You're a former CIA officer. That's not good enough. If you're going to make an effort to undermine the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, if you're going to sow doubts in the minds of soldiers in our military, you got to do better than a Tom Cruise movie from 30 years ago. She also mentioned Nuremberg. Nuremberg? You're going to compare whatever Donald Trump's doing to Nuremberg? These are not serious people. And I do believe today they are regretting this. They are wondering, how do we get out of this? It's being reported. It was reported yesterday that the Pentagon is launching an investigation into this. And the story reads that Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, is considering recalling Mark Kelly, former naval officer, pilot, astronaut, perhaps the most accomplished and respected member of the Seditious Six. Hegseth is considering recalling him to active duty so we can court-martial him. And I have one problem with this report. The word considering. I'm so sick of the word considering, looking at. I don't want him to consider anything. I want him to do this. I want action. I want them to do this. I want them to arrest people, court-martial people. I want them to take action. We've been waiting. I know we talk about this every day. 10 months. I thought things would be getting done in March, April, May, June. It is now almost December, and they're still considering, looking at. Well, this has to happen. This has to happen because I don't even think people grasp how serious this is. Here's what happened. I'm going to guess 2 weeks ago, somebody came up with the idea. Here's an idea. Here's something we can do to undermine Trump. That's all they care about. That's all they do day in and day out. When they show up at Capitol Hill, they get in the little meeting rooms and they say, how can we undermine our president? And they said, let's get some veterans together. You know what we'll do? We will use our military records, our military careers. We'll use that, the credibility that gives us, to look into the camera and say, you can refuse illegal orders. They knew when they did it, there were no illegal orders. They knew that. They know how this works better than most people. The idea here is to plant the seed in people's minds, people who don't know better. I heard one analyst break this down. They said an order from the commander-in-chief goes to the Secretary of War, and then to the head of the Joint Chiefs, and then down to another general, and then down to an officer in the field, and then down to the troops. Every step, every stage has a legal process. There are lawyers involved in every level, 5 or 6 different levels. There's a team of lawyers reviewing it. They know when the order gets down to the grunts, to the guys on the ground, they know it's been reviewed over and over again. They know there's no illegal order. They knew that. So this is not just sedition. This is outright lying. They knew that. Mark Kelly is a lot of things. He's not a dummy. He's not stupid. He knew what he was doing, had one purpose: to undermine the president, to sow doubts in people's minds, to destroy his credibility with the troops. I thought this was despicable when I first saw it. Now that we've had a few days to watch, to hear various experts analyze it, military guys, it is worse. It is indeed sedition. Trump is right. Hegseth is right. Hegseth goes after Kelly today, posting. Let me get the tweet from Hegseth. He holds nothing back, and I think for a change, we are going to see action. I don't think they're going to let this slide. I don't think Mark Kelly's going to get away with this. Here is Pete Hegseth. He writes, "The video made by the seditious six was despicable, reckless, and false. Encouraging our warriors to ignore the orders of their commanders undermines every aspect of good order and discipline. Their foolish screed sows doubt and confusion, which only puts our warriors in danger. 5 of the 6 individuals in the video do not fall under the Department of War jurisdiction. 1 is CIA, 4 are former military but not retired. So they are no longer subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. However, Mark Kelly, retired Navy commander, is still subject to the UCMJ, and he knows it. The department is reviewing his statements and actions, which were addressed directly to the troops, while explicitly using his rank and service affiliation, lending the appearance of authority to his words. Kelly's conduct brings discredit upon the armed forces and will be addressed appropriately." Well, it's coming. And you know what makes it worse is they're using their awards, their ribbons, their medals, their rank to give them credibility in their effort to undermine, to destroy the credibility of Trump and Hegseth and Raising Cane and the military. This is it's beyond reckless. Get the Mark Kelly tweet. I'm sorry. I'm done with this. I'm done with guys using their accomplishments in the military to give them credibility. We are done with this. We've lived through it with Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin and Colonel Vindman and these other people saying, "Look at me, I got ribbons, so I have credibility." Mark Kelly posts this, and it's beyond belief. He just goes through his whole resume. When I was 22, I commissioned as an ensign in the U.S. Navy and swore an oath to the Constitution. I upheld that oath through flight school, multiple deployments on the USS Midway, 39 combat missions, test pilot school, 4 space shuttle flights at NASA, and every day since I retired, which I did after my wife, Gabby, was shot in the head while serving her constituents. He goes through his whole resume. In combat, I had a missile blow up next to my jet and flew through anti-aircraft fire to drop bombs on every target. At NASA, I launched in a rocket, commanded the space shuttle, and was part of the recovery mission that brought home the bodies of my astronaut classmates who died in the Columbia. He goes through the whole thing. And then he takes a shot. He says, Hegseth tweet is the first I've heard of this. I also saw the president post saying I should be arrested, hanged, and put to death. That's not what he said. He said sedition is punishable by death. So logically, the only reason you would face the death penalty, Senator, is if you committed sedition. But he also posts a picture of his medals and ribbons and says, "Look at me. I'm amazing." And you are. You've gotten credit for that. Hell, you almost were on the ticket with Kamala Harris. If you weren't such a boring white guy, you'd have been on the ticket with Kamala Harris. But you're a senator. You've got awards coming out your ears. You have been rewarded for your service, sir. That doesn't allow you to undermine the president, to undermine the Secretary of War. These people, this is blowing up in their faces. Even Democrats have to admit this is reckless and seditious. I mean, I don't know what else you call it. They want one of the 1.3 million people in the middle. They want one of them to defy orders, do it publicly, make a big scene, say, "I don't like this order to blow up a drug boat in the Caribbean. I'm not going to do it." And that person's life will be ruined. They'll be court-martialed. They'll be destroyed. And Mark Kelly won't give a damn. Alyssa Slotkin, Maggie Goodlander, they will not stand by that person, despite what they said. They're going to use that person to try to hurt Trump. I think if this were the usual suspects, the Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Ed Markey, if it were usual screaming fools in Congress, we'd just laugh at this. We'd just say, they're dummies. They don't know what they're doing. They're just screaming about Trump as usual. This is different. Mark Kelly's right. He's got credibility. He has served honorably. Jason Crow, he was in combat. He deserves respect. This makes it worse. These people aren't stupid. They know what they're doing. They know there's no illegal order, and they don't care. Jason Crow went on Meet the Press. It's been surprising watching these six get questioned by the media. As we said, Alyssa Slotkin was asked Sunday morning, "Do you have any illegal orders? Can you name one?" And she said no. And then she talked about a movie. Well, Jason Crow, again, not stupid, a real hero, a real veteran, a combat veteran, a guy with real credibility, which again makes it worse. He knows the military. He knows what he's doing here. But listen, when Margaret Brennan asked Jason Crow, a rep from Colorado, about potential illegal orders. What are you talking about? What is Trump doing that is illegal? What should our troops defy him on? Listen to what he says.
How do you respond to these allegations from your colleagues, fellow veterans, that what you have put out there is weakening and corrosive to the military?
Well, these unfortunately are some of Trump's core supporters that are rallying behind the president, and they know better. They know exactly the difference between lawful versus unlawful. We were very clear in the video that what we're talking about is unlawful orders. You have the president's spokesperson going into a press conference this past week and saying that we called for people to disobey lawful orders. They're simply lying because the truth is unacceptable to them. It's unacceptable. We wanted to start a conversation, and we did, about the dangerous rhetoric this president is using and the threats that he's made to use our military in an unlawful way.
Specifically what?
Well, send troops into Chicago, send troops into polling stations, kill terrorists' families, arrest and execute members of Congress, shoot peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square. Need I go on? He has a history of...
Stop right there. Can we go through that list? Send troops into Chicago. Hasn't done it. Kill terrorist families. Hasn't done it. You know who did it? Barack Obama. Barack Obama killed terrorists and their families, including American citizens. Did this guy or any of the seditious six say a word about this? Did any of the media scream about that? And kill members of Congress? I mean, this is getting absurd. It was reckless and irresponsible. Now it's getting laughable. When did Trump order someone to kill a member of Congress? They're just losing it. This is what Trump does to them. They become these comedic actors. Yeah, sending troops into Chicago. Even Margaret Brennan, who's on his side, is like, what are you talking about? Kill members of Congress, kill terrorist families? When did he do that? He didn't. Oh, that's right. Barack Obama did it. How about, I don't know, ordering troops to get a vaccine, an unnecessary vaccine, or kicking them out? How about pulling out of Afghanistan foolishly and getting 13 service members blown up? Would that be reason to question an order? Of course not. This is just naked partisanship, and it's being exposed even by people like Margaret Brennan. Can you go back to the beginning of that list? It is just, I mean, this hasn't got enough attention. This is just comical. They have nothing. So they're making stuff up. Don't you have to wait until he sends troops into Chicago, which he should do, to accuse him of, I don't know, sending troops into Chicago? You want to hear the best part? This senator from Arizona, this lunatic Ruben Gallego, the guy that served his wife divorce papers when she was like in the hospital giving birth to his child. That guy, a real dirtbag. He said he's a veteran. He said he's part of this, but he was part of the second video. They have more to come, which I'm guessing might be canceled at this point. But they were going to post another video accusing Trump of illegal orders, which don't exist. Did you get it back to the beginning of the list? Because I was writing it down quickly. Here it is.
Troops into Chicago, send troops into polling stations, kill terrorists' families, arrest and execute members of Congress, shoot peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square. Need I go on?
Yeah, go on, you frickin' clown. So send troops into Chicago, send troops into polling places, kill terrorist families, kill members of Congress, kill protesters in Lafayette Square. I'm sorry, Mr. Crow, Congressman Crow. He didn't do any of those things. You're making our point here. They're just making it up. And I'm not sure they anticipated they did the FA part. They definitely did the FA. I'm not sure they knew that that there would be an FO part. Maybe because the Trump administration does is talk. A lot of them, Trump does is post. But in this case, I look forward to Pete Hegseth recalling Mark Kelly, Senator Gollum from Arizona, recalling him and court-martialing him. Kelly would probably welcome it and make him a martyr. All the media would fawn over him. But that's what has to happen. There has to be consequences. You can't let this slide. And I also look forward to that one lone corporal somewhere who defies an order and says, isn't this what you told me to do? I'm defying the authoritarian. I'm not following orders. He'll get court-martialed. He'll end up in Leavenworth, and Jason Crow and Maggie Goodlander and Kelly and Sotkin won't give a damn about him. Again, just another one of those things that they did not think through. That's kind of where we are right now. All right, we got to get to Ilhan Omar. Man, again, these guys are different. They're not Ilhan Omar. They're not lunatics. They're not subversives, typically. They're not radical maniacs like Ilhan Omar, who has come out guns blazing because Trump is ending the temporary protective status for some Somalians in Minnesota. All right, this sounds good. We talked about it briefly yesterday. It was a good thing, a good Trump tweet, a good Trump post, ending TPS. You want to hear the bad news? It covers 450 Somalians in Minneapolis and a total of 700 in the country. So you have more than 100,000 Somalians in Minnesota, 40% of whom are unemployed, many of whom are taking part in various schemes and scams, stealing billions from taxpayers. This scandal is incredible. The scope, the the depth, the width of this scandal is mind-boggling. And it's putting Democrats in a really awkward position. They have to defend fraud. They have to defend theft. They have to defend people who stole billions from taxpayers. And they didn't just buy houses and cars, although they did that. They sent it home to Somalia to fund Islamic terror, Al-Shabaab, which is an Al-Qaeda affiliate. I don't think we've ever seen a scandal more nefarious than this. And Democrats have no choice, apparently, but to defend it. And who better than Ilhan Omar, an immigration fraudster herself? We'll get to Ilhan Omar and others. And I have to talk about this. There's a race in Nashville to replace Mark Green in Congress. Yes, a congressperson, a congressional race on December 2nd, just a few days. And Democrats are running the single worst candidate I've ever seen. I mean, I know I've said that before about Kamala Harris as VP and others. It doesn't get worse than this person. I mean, her name is a weird name, Afton Bain. We'll tell you about Afton Bain and more, but first.
Excuse me.
What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla that is riding on top of a T-Rex? Confidence, that's what you get, pure confidence. The kind of confidence that you really need in the bedroom for that next level laser wolf riding a raptor in a Lamborghini through outer space type of experience. That's where Ruziet Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a confidence game changer. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance. Plus, effects last up to 36 hours, which means you can feel confident all day and night and then some into the next day, too. Getting started is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online at Ruziet.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Ruziet.com and use promo code Newsmax for 15% off your first order. That's Ruziet.com, code Newsmax. Make sure to use my code so they know we sent you. And I just watched a report on CNN on the scam, on the schemes, on the fraud in Minnesota, which we've talked about for a few days now, the incredible expose in City Journal exposing the theft of $1.7 billion from taxpayers through various schemes, through Feed the Children was one of the frauds. They're stealing from kids. They're stealing from autism, kids with autism. The scope of this is incredible. This is what they do. They come here with one goal in mind, to scam us and to send the money home. To send it home, in some cases, in bags full of cash. They've been busted. People are waking up, and it's putting Democrats in a really tough spot because reflexively, they have to defend anything illegal aliens do. It's what they do. I mean, that's their top priority, defend illegal aliens. In this case, illegal aliens are stealing from taxpayers and funding terror, and they have to defend it. And of course, in the case of Minneapolis, their leader, a fraudster herself, Ilhan Omar, went out before the cameras to defend this and attack the president, who's taking temporary protective status away from 450 of the more than 100,000 Somalians in Minneapolis. It's largely symbolic, and I think it does direct people's attention to the scam, which is happening here. Not enough, but people are waking up. I just watched a report on this on CNN. This is a quote. The reporter, not an analyst or commentator, not Abby Phillip or Anna Cabrera or whatever her name. The reporter said, classified Trump's move to strip TPS from 450 people as viciously cruel and stunning. We have lost our minds. If we can't agree that this is a bad thing, that we're importing people who, forget stealing, don't work, who come here to scam the system, we can't agree on that. If Democrats can't agree on that, it's hopeless. They are going to defend people who won't work, who steal, who send it home to fund terrorism. You'd think we could find some common ground on this, but no. A Democrat congressman went before the cameras and, of course, made it out to be whatever, racist. And, he's targeting one group. Yeah, he's targeting a group of thieves who never should have been let in this country. They started letting them in. I looked this up under George H.W. Bush, the first flood of refugees from Somalia, the first group to be giving TPS. And they just kept bringing them in. No one asked, how does this help us? No one ever asks that question. How does that help America to bring in refugees from some hellhole, some lawless hellhole, 10,000 miles away? It doesn't help. It really, really hurts, as we see in Minnesota. But here's Ilhan Omar after Trump posted that he was going to strip a couple of hundred people of their protected status, which makes them immediately eligible for deportation. So we're going to get a couple of hundred out. The rest, they could stay and continue to rip us off. But here's Congressman Omar.
So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities, while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact.
She's sick and tired of people demonizing people who committed massive fraud on our country. Wouldn't want to demonize those. Who can you demonize? If you can't demonize criminals who are stealing from kids who are faking autism diagnoses, who are stealing from hungry children, who are stealing COVID funds, you can't demonize them? Well, what can you do? What can you say? Why can't you just say, there's a few bad apples and we got to get them out? They're at least, 5% of the Somalians are good people, and the other 95% are giving us all a bad name. Why can't you say that? Why can't she admit that there are scammers in her midst? She can't. Here's more from Omar.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
Less American. She doesn't want you to make people stealing from America to be considered less American. You're not American. You don't care. You've said it yourself. Your loyalties lie with Somalia. You hate the place that saved you from a Kenyan refugee camp and gave you everything. That's what's so infuriating to people. Not only are that they stealing your money, but there's no gratitude ever. There's no appreciation for this country that has literally given them everything. The sense of entitlement from this woman is just sickening. It is an amazing thing to watch. And I hope, maybe I'm being too optimistic, people are waking up. If you haven't read the story yet, read it, Google it. Chris Rufo and another guy, Ryan Thorpe, wrote the story in City Journal. It will blow your mind how bad this problem is. And it's being facilitated by the pathetic, mayor of Minneapolis, Jason Fry, Tim Walz, the governor, who is accusing Trump of, again, demonizing, targeting a community. Yeah, he's targeting crooks, thieves. If we can't fix this, it's hopeless. And again, it puts Democrats in a spot, and apparently they're willing to go there, of defending it. It's like welfare fraud. We've seen, thanks to the Democrat shutdown, we've seen the length, we've seen the extent to which people are stealing from the SNAP program. Again, it was 17 million before Biden. Now it's 42 million on SNAP. We heard the sob stories. Get me that guy from Tennessee. if you're a Democrat and they're doing this, you have to fight any effort to eliminate fraud from every one of these federal programs, including SNAP. So I saw this. Brooke Rollins, the agriculture secretary, said they want to start over. You must reapply. You must be eligible for SNAP before you get SNAP. Sounds common sense. Sounds like something we could all agree on. But no, immediately, the usual suspect, Ayanna Pressley, AOC, said that's cruel to make sure people getting SNAP are eligible for SNAP, making sure able-bodied men like Karen Aguilar, that's his name, don't rip off the system, aren't scamming the system. We should start over. You should be forced to reapply. You should be eligible. They should have work requirements. That's reasonable. Anybody could agree. You should be drug tested. You shouldn't be able to buy junk food. These are basic rules. And Democrats just reflexively, again, instinctively say, no, we can't do that. We can't make sure people aren't stealing. We can't we can't demand any accountability from this program. Here's a guy who shamelessly, a 38-year-old man, healthy, saying he doesn't know what he will do if they cut off his food stamps. And he does. And again, one of the solutions, we can all do this, is to bring back shame, bring back the stigma. There should be a stigma. If you're a healthy 38-year-old man with no kids and no disability, and you're collecting SNAP benefits, you shouldn't be proud of that. It should be temporary. Again, I go back to, speaking of movie references, James Braddock in the movie Cinderella Man. It was depression. His kids were hungry. He got some welfare payments, and then when he was back on his feet making money, he went and paid back the government. It was a cool scene, but those were the days. You weren't supposed to be proud if you were a healthy man to collect, to steal from taxpayers. But that's where we're at right now. This guy's going to be forced to, be vetted before he gets his food stamps, and he is having a tough time with that. Listen to Mr. Aguilar.
That's some bull.
Nelson Scott is on the verge of losing access to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. He is 38, not disabled, doesn't have any kids, doesn't go to school, and doesn't have a job. Those are just some of the reasons he is no longer eligible for SNAP benefits.
How much did SNAP help you?
It helped me a lot. I get $292 a month.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture crackdown is led by President Trump, who signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law in July. The government shutdown stalled the November 1st deadline for implementation. However, these changes are still coming up.
We help.
Signe Anderson is a senior director of nutrition advocacy with the Tennessee Justice Center.
Because of rules like this, we can see individuals that are going to be forced to skip meals.
She points out senior citizens and children between the age of 15 and 18 will be most impacted. Rick Williams is a conservative political analyst.
A 15 or 16-year-old can take care of themselves at home while you go work. There's no reason you can't be working. There are plenty of jobs out there.
Scott tells me as a felon, getting a job isn't easy.
I will get one if y'all give me one. Y'all be felony friendly and hire us.
The Tennessee
What do you say?
You got to be felony friendly to hire me.
Oh, felony friendly. I mean, right now, I would say in some of these cities, there's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of construction jobs, landscaping jobs, restaurant jobs. If you're legal, I think he's legal, but it's going to hurt him a lot. 38 years old. He gets $300 a month. Doesn't know what he's going to do. And he doesn't have any shame. It's like, yeah, give me my free money. That's not how it's supposed to work. And yet half of Congress, every Democrat, every elected Democrat will defend him and say, the poor guy's down on his luck. Well, it's not meant for healthy 38-year-old men who can work. And if you say that, get a job. I got his name wrong, but get a job, Nelson. You'll say that's cruel. Or CNN would say, viciously cruel for that guy to get a job. You know what? Stick to your guns, Democrats. Keep defending that. Keep defending that kind of fraud. I think that the reform in the SNAP program is simple. Again, make them reapply. Stop making it so easy for crooks like this to take our money. Make them take a drug test. Make them get a job. Make them buy healthy foods. Why is that so controversial? All right, we're going to stay in Nashville. That guy's in Tennessee. We're going to stay in Tennessee for this. The worst candidate in the history of American politics. We will tell you about Afton Bain. And I guess it's tough. It's a tough call because we still have Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Brandon Johnson was asked about the vicious, cruel, inhumane attack on a 26-year-old woman on the subway who was set ablaze by a 71-time loser, a guy who's been arrested 71 times, who was freed and allowed to go on the subway and burn an innocent woman. He was asked about that. His answer is just insane. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
All right, folks, some breaking news right off the top. Beam's cyber sale is now open for early access to my listeners, and it's their best offer of the year, but for only 48 hours. Right now, my listeners get up to 50% off with code word Gerry. You can grab Dream for just $32.50. That breaks down to just $1.08 per night for the best sleep of your life. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry and don't miss out. This is the lowest price Dream has ever been sold anywhere, and it will likely sell out quickly. Dream is packed with ingredients your body actually needs to sleep. Reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and yes, even melatonin, but dosed intelligently, not like the drugstore garbage that knocks you out and leaves you groggy. Here's what happens. You fall asleep fast, you stay asleep, and you wake up sharp, focused, and ready to face the day. And that's never been more important. I look at it this way. The end of the night, it's like having a little chocolate milk at the end of every night. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry and get up to 50% off during Beam's cyber sale. You can grab Dream for just $32.50, but here's the catch. Dream is only available at this price until it sells out. So seriously, think about it. How much would you pay for a truly great night's sleep? With Beam's cyber price, it's just $1.08 per night. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry and try Beam today. All right, the election is in a few days in Nashville. Special election to replace Mark Green in Congress. A seat in Congress is up for grabs. Democrats think they're on a roll. Obviously, they had a good night a couple of weeks ago. They're looking good. I got to admit, for the midterms, Democrats are mobilized and motivated. But if this happens, if this woman, Afton, A-F-T-Y-N, that's her name, Bain, Afton Bain, a typical affluent white liberal, just the worst people in the world, doing their best to destroy this country. She's the Democrat candidate. She's behind in the polls. Polls are tightening and millions are pouring in from around the country. You thought Zoran Mandami was bad? At least he's smart and articulate and not completely insane. This woman is completely insane, and she might be a congressman representing a red district in Tennessee. Man, I hope Republicans are waking up. I hope they're going to the polls. I hope they're voting because she cannot be a congresswoman. Here she is telling you what she thinks about her city, the city which she will represent in Congress, Nashville. She hates Nashville. I'm not sure there's a more damaging or disqualifying thing than saying you hate the city that you want to represent in Congress, but she did. That's what she said. I think we have it on video. Check this out.
Voters I spoke with here are either shocked or don't think the audio plays into the bigger issues on Afton Bain's agenda. Political analysts are divided on whether or not this will hurt her chances of winning.
Thursday, early voters cast their ballot for the congressional District 7 race. But that same day, Democratic candidate Afton Bain is at the center of controversy. According to the Tennessee Holler's social media post, Bain was one of the hosts of a podcast called Grits on the Tennessee Holler Podcast Network. She is heard saying this in part on a February 2020 episode. I've been heavily involved in the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city. I hate the bachelorettes. I hate the pedal taverns. I hate country music. I hate all the things that make Nashville apparently an it city. Timothy Ford is a Democrat and came to the polls for early voting.
Really surprised someone would even talk like that about Nashville even. I think she should apologize as many times as she can.
The audio instantly changing his mind.
I want to go get my vote back and keep it.
John Wiggins is also a Democrat. He just finished casting his vote for Bain.
I don't think she had to apologize. I think let's take it out of context.
Wiggins tells me the audio doesn't change his mind.
That shouldn't matter. I'm looking at the bigger issues.
Conservative political analyst Steve Gill tells me this hurts her chances of winning.
That if you're already looking to vote against her, this may motivate you to actually turn out and go get it done.
Democratic political analyst Chip Forrester tells me the audio won't have any impact.
I think what happened is the Republicans have been caught flat-footed by her incredible campaign.
Hey, Afton, this is Karen Aguilar with Fox.
I called Bain and texted her. She directed me to her campaign manager, who sent me a statement, dodging our questions when we asked if Bain said it and what she meant. Statement reads in part, Republicans are panicking, and in a last-ditch attempt, they are distracting from the fact that Washington Republicans and Matt Van Epps are raising costs on Tennessee families and ripping away their health care.
People still have time to make up their minds on this issue. Early voting ends next week before Thanksgiving. The general election is on December the 2nd.
Political analysts are split on whether it hurts her candidacy when she said, I hate the city. I hate Nashville. I hate everything about it. And it's on video. Thank God we have these things on video. You can't hide from it. But here's how bad it is. This is obviously a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. And normally when you go on MSNBC, it's called damage control. Normally they'll be there to prop you up and help you through, gently usher you to the finish line the way they did for Kamala Harris. I don't think it's working out for I keep getting it right. Afton Bain. She goes on MSNBC and she's asked, this is unbelievable, to be honest with you. I watched this. They said,
it's officially MS Now.
Oh, I'm sorry. MS Now. Yeah, it's much different now. It's a whole different. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the new MS Now. They're actually going to do journalism. They're actually going to ask tough questions of Democrats. But check this interview out. Tell me this woman, forget the fact that she hates the city and she's crazy liberal who wants to defund the police. Not only does she want to defund the police, she supports burning down police stations. She literally tweeted out that she supports burning police stations like they did in Minneapolis. But here she goes on MS Now just before the election, and I don't think she repaired the damage. Check this out.
Representative, in 2020, you made some tweets that have since been deleted that were very critical of police. You said in those since deleted tweets that the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department should be dissolved. Another cheered on a teachers union saying that defund the police should be a requirement for schools reopening. And another saying good morning, especially to the 54% of Americans that believe burning down a police station is justified. 2020 was obviously a very fraught year. Do you still stand by those comments? And if not, is there anything you want to clarify?
I'm not going to engage in cable news talking points, but what I will say is that, our communities need solutions. We need local people deciding, solving local problems with local solutions. And that's not the overreach of a federal government or state government of which we are dealing with in Nashville and our cities across the state of Tennessee.
So you don't want to clarify whether you still believe that the police should be defunded?
Once again, I don't remember these tweets, but what I'm saying is that
I'm not asking you if you remember. What is your position today? How's that on this issue?
I mean, once again, I'm here to talk about my race, which is in literally 9 days.
She can't answer it. That's MSNBC's MS Now. Cable news talking points, she says. But you said you want to defund the police. You support burning down the police stations. You You hate Nashville. Cable news talking points. God, she can't win. She can't be in the House of Representatives. She's already in the State House, and that's bad enough. But that person cannot represent Nashville. That will be the most discouraging development in this midterm year. And it's early. We got a long way to the midterms. But if she wins, if she replaces a Republican in Congress, if she wins a district that went plus 22 for Donald Trump, that will be a truly discouraging, bad day in MAGA land. All right. Speaking of crazy Democrats, we got to play this Brandon Johnson clip because we know this guy's insane. We know he's just awful for the city. But this kind of a big story in Chicago right now. A woman, Bethany McGee, 26 years old, you've heard the story, set ablaze by a man, 50-year-old Lawrence Reed, who'd been arrested 71 times prior to this. By the way, we all ask, why is he not in prison? He only was convicted of like 15 of these crimes. The whole system is broken in Chicago. A guy with 71 arrests just gets let off the hook. He was let go in August after knocking a woman, a worker, a social worker, unconscious in a mental hospital in August. And the judge, we told you about the judge yesterday, Teresa Molina Gonzalez, a DEI judge who said she wasn't going to send people to prison just because the DA wanted her to. How about protecting people? Would that be something you'd want to do? Anyway, she set him free. He went to the gas station, filled a bottle with gas, went looking for someone to set up on fire, found poor Bethany McGee, set her ablaze, and then said, "Burn, bitch." That guy was walking free. Brandon Johnson, surrounded by all the fellow lunatics in Chicago, explains that the solution, the answer to the crime problem, is not incarceration. I know Democrats, particularly in blue cities, are insane, but what he's saying is the exact opposite. I mean, it is Bethany McGee would be alive and well and enjoying Thanksgiving, would not be clinging to life in the hospital if the man were incarcerated. It is a simple solution. We have an incarceration problem in this country. He's right. It's under incarceration. If a guy like Lawrence Reed is walking free, not enough people are in prison. That guy belonged in prison. I think we could all agree. But here's this absolute menace of a mayor explaining we have too many people in prison. Listen to this.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
It is racist and unholy to put people in prison. I mean, they had this incident at the Christmas tree lighting over the weekend where like 300 youths rioted. A 14-year-old kid was shot dead. 367 people have been murdered in Chicago this year. Thousands injured, including Bethany McGee. And he says, we can't put people like Lawrence Reed in prison because that would be racist and unholy. I know you get what you voted for, but this guy's taking it to extremes. This guy is just the worst. All right, I got so much to get to. I want to get to the strongest woman in the world. I want to do this New York Times thing briefly because we talk a lot about, the absolute corruption in the mainstream media, just how far gone the media is. We say it all the time. You don't hate the media enough. If you haven't seen this story in the New York Times over the weekend, this is the most insane. If you have any respect for the mainstream media, particularly New York Times, it's over. We're done with that. You must stop. These are not journalists. These are not truth tellers. These are the scum of the earth. These are the fakest of fake news. They ran a story about two guys named Dan Kluver. The headline, 2 men, 1 identity, they both paid the price. I read it. It is mind-boggling. How forget bias. This isn't bias. This is insanity. You know the 2 guys named Dan Kluver? Well, one guy's actually Dan Kluver. The other guy is an illegal alien who stole his identity. They go through the story of the real Dan Kluver and how it's cost him tens of thousands of dollars to stop the person who stole his identity and clear his name and fix his credit and everything else. Just going through hell because another guy stole his identity. Vincent, this guy's got like a dozen names. Vincent Trujillo, Ronaldo Guerrera, his actual name, Romeo Perez Bravo, a Guatemalan immigrant who stole the identity of Dan Kluver. They both paid a price. The guy who paid the innocent American paid a real price. The other guy stole the identity. The New York Times, just to give you an example of how insane the story is, borrowed his identity. That's what they said. He borrowed his identity. He was deported 3 times. He kept coming back. He had here's New York Times, an actual paragraph. The first years after coming in the country illegally, the first years were lonely and exhausting. He started to drink, which led to a string of DUIs and other offenses. He was deported back to Guatemala in 2005, 2008, 2009. Each time he returned to the United States and purchased a new ID for work. He's purchased a stolen ID, stole people's social security number, and you know what he ended up doing after all these DUIs? Here's the New York Times. They write, and then came a detail from a police report that Kluver couldn't shake. In the summer of 2022, the other Dan Kluver, he's not the other Dan Kluver. He's whatever he's Perez Bravo. The other Dan Kluver had been driving to work when the serpentine belt broke in his car, causing him to lose control at a red light and collide with a grandfather and his 9-year-old granddaughter as they rode a motorized tricycle. The girl sustained minor injuries, but the 68-year-old man flew off the bike, broke his pelvis in 2 places, and struck his head and died. Yes, the fake Dan Kluver killed a grandfather. And they point out that he stayed at the scene and prayed for the victim. They spend this entire story, which is like 10,000 words, portraying this man, this illegal alien from Guatemala as just another victim. Again, snuck into the country illegally at least 3 times, multiple DUIs, identity theft, fraud, drunk driving, and killing a grandfather. And he paid a price. And the thing goes on and on and on about what a good man. He had 4 kids, all of them now American citizens because they were born here. This is just, you have to read it. You have to read it to believe it. Just insane. All right, do we have time before we go to commend, to honor? Let me get his name. I want to get his name before you show him. This is funny. Jamie Booker. Congratulations to Jamie Booker. Jamie Booker is now the strongest woman in the world. There is Jamie on the medal stand. There's the second place finisher, Rebecca Roberts, has her second place trophy. She walks off in disgust because, you guessed it, Jamie Booker is a man. A man is now the strongest woman in the world. This took place in Austin, Texas. This is a worldwide competition. So the strongest woman in the world is a man. And who could you believe that? That men, I'm starting to think, Ironhead, men might be stronger than women. I know that's bigoted. I know
we can't be thinking like that. It's 2025.
There's no evidence. There's no research to back it up. But look at that. He celebrates, arms in the air, She says, this is bullshit. Can we go? And walks off the medal stand. Good for her. They should all be walking off. There's some big women there, big, strong women, but none of them as strong as a man. How is this still happening in this day and age in America? Booker says, I'm a 21-year-old trans woman with a history of abuse, struggling to stay true to herself while under the rule of her religious parents. And there's plenty of pictures of Jamie Booker looking not much like a woman, just a big, homely man who can lift a lot of weight. Wasn't even close, of course, because he's a man and they are not men. But I thought we were done with this. How is this still a thing that a man is stealing a trophy, stealing an honor of these? A man is literally the strongest woman in the world. Congratulations to Jamie Booker, the strongest woman in the world. What a joke. What a joke. All right, that will do it for today. We may have peace in Ukraine. I didn't want to talk about this because I'm not going there. I don't want to do this yet. Let me know when it's over. Apparently, Ukraine agreed to the deal. Russia has not, but Trump may end another war. Gee, you think he'll brag about this if he actually does this? You think he'll mention this in his next press conference, that he ended the war in Ukraine? He might, and I hope he does, but we will wait and see. But that will do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities, while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact.